guys, what's going on? It's Caesar, the physio here with
Kirsten the chiro.
Today we're going to be talking about tendinopathies, tendinosis, tendinitis. If you feel like you have that, we're going to be focusing on knees today.
There's acute and degenerative tendinopathies. So within this acute phase, we're talking about starting your running season, starting your volleyball, basketball season, increasing how much dynamic stress you're putting through the tendons before the tendon is kind of ready for action. Within that acute initial phase, we want to target the actual tendon itself and improve how it handles load. And then after that, we kind of take a look at how the body is moving as a whole and why is that tendon maybe taking more of the load than it should be. If someone comes in with patellar tendinopathy acute, the goal is kind of taking down pain initially. So what we're going to do is actually get Caesar to come into a wall sit. So anywhere between maximum extension and maximum flexion is good. The other thing we want to be thinking about is where is that tendon lining up? So when we load the tendon, we want the tissues to be growing and changing, adapting in the angle of tension we want to be sending them in. So we're also focusing when we're in our wall sit of keeping a bit of an arch in our feet and keeping a bit of tension in the hip. From there, you can hang on to this from anywhere 30 seconds to 90 seconds, somewhere between 3 to 5 times, once a day, every day. That'll be the first thing we'll target within the first kind of week to 10 days of our injury. Other bonus things we will add in as we let the tendon kind of calm down are going to be some ankle mobility drills. Within a tendon problem in the knee, we also want to start looking at the ankle and the hip. If those guys aren't moving super well, the knee is going to take more load. So let's check out your ankle dorsiflexion and get a little bit of work done on that. Good. So taking a look, wanting to see how much dorsiflexion their ankle has and noticing if one side maybe has a little bit more than the other. And is that side the symptomatic knee? So from there, if you do find limitations within ankle dorsiflexion, we can toss ourselves up against the wall and go through just a bit of range of motion. So taking that ankle up into dorsiflexion and then bending the knee, driving through that movement. You can kind of bounce around a little bit in that range, hold towards the end. Anywhere, again, between 45, 90 seconds is a good place to hang out within those ankle dorsiflexion movements. So other ways we can work through ankle dorsiflexion, you can do either squat or lunge. So coming into a lunge position, taking that front leg, driving it forward over the toes while keeping the heel down on the ground is going to be a good one for this. You can also play with the angle that your knee is coming forward, so maybe sending a little further out, sending a little further in, finding spots that feel restrictive and working in those ranges. Personally, I usually do, if I'm adding any sort of weight, I'll usually leave it around 20 seconds. When I'm just using body weight or you're up against the wall, you can hang into a longer hold, but as soon as you add load, I would rather less time, more reps, just happier on your tendons. So another piece of the overload puzzle, I guess you could say, for any sort of patellar problem would be hip extension and the strength within that. So if you don't have good control of your hip range of motion, it'll also lead to a bit more overload on the tendon. So we're going to do a little work on Caesar's hip extension. One of the common problems you'll see when people are trying to work hip extension is it becomes an exercise in low back extension. So what the stick is actually going to do is prevent his low back from getting into it. So reach forward with your arms, good, and kind of press the stick down from your core. Awesome. So that's going to engage his abdominal muscles and keep his pelvis lined up with his rib cage. From there, squeezing the glute to actually open up through the front side of the hip, translating the pelvis forward, not the belly button. Squeeze the glute for about 10 seconds. Try to keep breathing into the abdomen. After about 10 seconds, you stay in the position, but you can kind of relax. Take a few breaths, take 5-10 seconds. Reposition the core, set, stabilize, good. Push forward with the hip again. So for this one, you can cycle through anywhere between 5 to 10 reps of this 10-second hold.